is such a dominant figure on the media landscape that the announcement that she's ending her daytime talk show 2 years from now made the front page of the New York Times. Oprah Winfrey is abdicating her throne as the queen of daytime talk to concentrate on her new cable channel, modestly named the Oprah Winfrey Network. Let's face it, this is a woman who transcends the role of television host, who's become a cultural icon for millions of women. And she's been building that brand for 25 years.
Welcome to the very first National Oprah Winfrey Show! I have lost, as of this morning, 67 pounds. The boy is gone. The boy is gone. Did he ever beat you? Yes.
I'm going to surprise the winner with $1 million.
I feel duped, but more importantly, I feel that you betrayed millions of readers. A few of my favorites. These years with you, our viewers, have enriched my life beyond all measure. So why walk away and make next season the last? Here is the real reason. I love this show. This show has been my life. And I love it enough to know when it's time to say goodbye.
Joining us now to examine Oprah's decision and the impact on the television business, in Las Vegas, Jerry Springer, who's hosted a syndicated talk show for nearly 2 decades. And in Los Angeles, Judy Muller, former ABC News correspondent, now an associate professor of broadcast journalism at the University of California's Annenberg School. Jerry Springer, I'll start with the obvious question. You launched your talk show in 1991. That was about 5 years after Oprah went national. Was she something of an influence on you?
Well, she's the best there ever was. I'd say she and Phil Donahue, and it's really hard to put me and her in the same sentence. I mean, because she does a real talk show. We do pretty much of a circus. But her impact on the whole industry has been enormous because she probably was the first to take the genre of a talk show and to turn it into something personal for the viewer. In other words, people would go on and actually talk about something that was going on in their lives rather than a broad general issue.
You say you do pretty much of a circus, but in 1998, for example, you were beating Oprah Winfrey in many markets across the country, but then she continued to soar. So what happened?
Well, there's no accounting for public taste. I don't know why people would watch what we do, but it's a totally different element of it. But with Oprah, and it's really been something that's going on in our society altogether, is that the viewers have become the entertainment. I mean, that is true with the internet. That is true even in journalism now, where people with computers are suddenly becoming the journalists. You know, people sitting at home or going on the webs with their own information. Mm-hmm. I just think the whole landscape is changing, but I think Oprah was very influential in making it okay for people to talk about their personal lives.
Judy Muller, everyone's trying to put a finger on this connection, this bond that Oprah Winfrey has with millions of women. What do you make of it?
Well, I think women relate to Oprah. Obviously, she's very rich. So, you know, as Gail Collins said in her column yesterday, she's worth $1 trillion billion. So, even so, she seems like everybody's best girlfriend. She preaches the gospel of self-empowerment, and that's because of her own personal story, raised on a poor farm in Mississippi and now one of the 300 richest people in the world, according to Forbes. This is a rags to riches story that everybody wants to believe in. So I think she really connects with women.
People forget what a long shot she was considered to be. Time magazine, this is 1986 when she was launching, wrote that in a field dominated by white males, she is a black female of ample bulk. She did not sort of fit the usual description for a successful television personality at that time.
And the ample bulk is part of her appeal. I mean, we all relate to weight gain and loss and her struggle with that. And speaking of Jerry Springer, she really became the anti-Jerry Springer, as he pointed out. While he was looking at sort of the tawdrier side of human nature, she looked to inspire and elevate, and as I said, talked about self-empowerment. So she marked out turf that nobody had done before.
Although, Jerry, you are the perfect person for me to ask this, because I looked at your website and some of your videos are titled Stripper Showdown, Hot-Headed Homewreckers, My Pimp Wants to Marry Me. When Oprah Winfrey started out, she was also seen as kind of working the tawdry side of the street. She did a lot of pretty tabloid stuff, and then she decided to kind of take a higher road. Do you remember that?
Yeah, whether we call it a higher road, it's certainly a different road.
Right.
You know, what we do is tongue-in-cheek, and it's crazy. And as I said, I don't think Oprah ever really did that. She may have spoken about the same subjects, but she did it seriously. With us, you know, basically our show is a fraternity party. It's aimed at, you know, high school and college age kids, and they kind of get it, and that's all it is. So, again, I think Oprah really created new ground. She opened the doors and says it's okay to talk about yourself. Look, Phil Donahue had been on for 29 years. He created the genre in a sense. But Phil Donahue never talked about himself. It really wasn't. Most of his shows had nothing to do with the individual person. It was a larger issue. You know, he would talk about things like, let's say, health care or a war that was going on. With Oprah, it was really, I can tell you about my personal life. She let people in. And that kind of became an okay thing then to say, you know what? If she can talk about her personal life, I can talk about mine.
Right,
and I think that has been happening across the media.
Oprah once said that without Phil Donahue, there wouldn't have been an Oprah. He started that show out of Dayton, Ohio. But Judy Mueller, Oprah's not exactly disappearing. For one thing, the syndicated show continues until 2011, and then she's got the network that she's launching with Discovery, and she's got the O Magazine and the whole empire. So I don't think she's going to disappear, but do you think she'll ever again have a platform as broad as this syndicated daytime show?
Well, I wouldn't put anything past her. Most of what she touches turns to gold, and I think the fact that we are talking about this and is a testament to the impact of Oprah Winfrey on the industry. This isn't going to happen for 2 years, and yet we're all analyzing the impact. And of course, there are a lot of people who are going to feel the pain. All those ABC stations that count on the Oprah lead-in to their newscast, they're wondering who's going to fill in that spot, who's going to bring that large audience as a natural lead-in to their newscast. That's real money. That's real advertising dollars. CBS, which owns the syndication rights, is going to see a loss. All those publishers who love touting their authors on Oprah, which is a natural bestseller route, they're all crying. I mean, she was tearing up yesterday, but quite frankly, there are a lot of other people tearing up as well.
Right, and also celebrities who are coming out of rehab like to go on Oprah Winfrey, and politicians who are in need of image rehab, as we saw this week with Sarah Palin kicking off her tour on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Jerry Springer, but you know, she has made mistakes. She's had problems with that South African girls' school that she founded. We saw a brief clip there of her with author James Fry, and she says she got duped by a book that was full of fabrications. So I wonder, there are even some people who say that by endorsing Barack Obama, she gave him a major boost to the White House. I wonder if we kind of make her too much larger than life as we talk about this.
Well, I think that, you know, in fairness, that's probably true, simply because we in the business of television or the media tend to be pretty self-absorbed. In other words, we really think that everything we do, wow, the whole rest of the world is just watching and changing their life because of what we say on the television, too.
That is a stunning admission. Let me write that down. We're kind of self-absorbed. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So, in other words, no, I don't think the rest of the world, the rest of America, I think most people go about their daily lives, frankly, not watching any of us. I mean, for example, Oprah Winfrey on a normal day will get 7 million people watching her. Well, okay, that means about 293 million people aren't. And, you know, it's going to be fine. It's going to be like, you know, people will watch something else. And it's not just watching television. They go on the internet. Some people still read books. I mean, there are lots of other sources of information. Politicians will find other shows to go on. You know, I remember when they said, well, when Johnny Carson was leaving, oh my God, there goes The Tonight Show. And the reality is that The Tonight Show continued. Television will continue, and there'll be other people coming on. So I don't think this is the end of the world. I just think it will have an effect on the industry for a while.
It's not the end of civilization as we know it, but there are very few personalities, even in television. Even people have big numbers who have that kind of personal connection with the audience that I spoke about. So, Judy Mueller, a number of programs, including some I've been on, the question always comes up, who's going to be the next Oprah? I wonder, and names have been kicked around, Ellen DeGeneres, Dr. Phil, who Oprah syndicates, Katie Couric, when her contract expires at CBS, but I wonder whether there can be another Oprah in this fragmented age of blogs and podcasts and cable channels.
I think you're absolutely right, and Jerry Springer's absolutely right, that we're fractionalizing the media, and I think Oprah saw this and is acting on it. She's creating a new cable network, OWN, Oprah Winfrey Network, and I think she sees the writing on the wall. Cable is doing much better than the broadcast shows, the big four, because they count on advertising alone. Cable gets the subscription fees and the advertising, and it's more profitable. So she's making that change at a very good time, at a time when we sit down to watch one show and talk about it the next day.
Right.
Those times are over in the way that Walter Cronkite did. That's over.
That's a
I
past
think
era.
she sees
I've got to get
what's
going
coming and is acting on it.
All right. Well, at least we've established that this is not the end of television as we know it, thanks to Jerry Springer. And thanks to Judy Miller as well. Appreciate you joining us.